We're currently at the doorstep of World War III. This is real problems, and Americans are frankly seeing through it. It shows that we're circling the wagons and saying, no, we're going to protect this, and we're going to fight against this nonsense, because that's truly what it is.
And so what we're going to do is introduce legislation to require that every single person who registers to vote in a federal election must prove that they're an American citizen first. They have to prove it. That will be a new part of the federal law, and a very important one. Our bill will establish new safeguards. It'll put us on par, by the way, with virtually every other democracy around the world that also prohibits non-citizen voting. And this is a critical thing for us to do at a very critical time. Our bill also will require states to remove non-citizens from their existing voter rolls. That's a big problem, too. When we put this bill on the floor, you're going to see a record vote by Republicans and Democrats. You'll see that the Republicans stand for election integrity. And then we'll be able to ask this very important question of the Democrats. They're going to have to go on record. Do you believe that Americans and Americans alone should be the ones who vote in American elections? We're about to find out their answer.
And so will this effort by Speaker Johnson to put Democrats on record be effective? Well, let's ask U.S. Senate candidate and Pinal County Sheriff Mark Lamb that question. Sheriff, always great to see you. So as the Speaker said, a majority of Americans believe that illegals should not be anywhere near our voting booths. But will this effort to put Democrats on record be effective? What say you, sir?
Well, look, David, I agree with you. I don't know that we even have to line this out. This should be a foregone conclusion that if you are not a citizen of this country, you should not be able to vote. You know, we're busy dealing with this piece of it when we should be talking about don't send out any more mail-out ballots. That seems to be a big area of fraud where people are getting multiple ballots. They're sending ballots to whoever, people that aren't even alive anymore. That's a big issue. Protecting ballot boxes where they drop it off. There's a lot of different things that we should be focused on and doing. And I like that the federal government shouldn't be getting involved in elections anyway. It's not what they set up for. But it's sad that we're to a point in this country where we actually have to pass legislation to actually tell the states and this people in this country that the people who are not citizens cannot vote. I don't know. We're in real trouble, David. We're in real trouble in this country.
Sheriff, I was there on the ground that day at that press conference with the Speaker and the President, and had a chance to speak with the Speaker off the record afterwards quite extensively, and talk to him a little bit about how I thought it was so historic. I can't remember a time whenever in history, and correct me if I'm wrong, sitting Speaker has flown all the way to a president's home, right? To conduct a nominee's home, because he's the nominee here, to conduct a press conference. What does this say about this particular speaker and this president and this moment in history?
Well, I think what it says to me is we're trying to circle the wagons. You know, they're trying to attack President Trump through lawfare. They've done it in Georgia. They're doing it in New York. You can see this is becoming the biggest issue. We're currently at the doorstep of World War III, and we are now having to deal with our presidential candidate having to be drugged through lawfare. This is real problems, and Americans are frankly seeing through it. I like that Speaker Johnson has gone down there because, like I said, it shows that we're circling the wagons and saying, no, we're going to protect this and we're going to fight against this nonsense, because that's truly what it is.
Sheriff Lamb, I'd like to get your perspective on what you just heard, or more of your perspective on what you just heard from the Speaker, but specific to elections in Arizona where you're running for office. We just heard the Speaker basically say that modern democracies only allow citizens to vote, but it seems to me that modern democracies also have one-day elections. Their elections are completed within one day. Here, we vote over several weeks. Do you think that needs to be a change specifically there in your state of Arizona?
Absolutely. The common sense election process, like most of the countries throughout the world, even jacked up countries, is you show up with your ID the day of election, you get a ballot, you vote, we count it. That's who wins at the end of the night. That's how it should be. Not 3 weeks of early ballots going out and this and that. That's where we're getting these elections all jacked up. And the Democrats know it, and they're taking advantage of all the problems with the elections And that's why states like Arizona are having trouble. You know, we have 3 weeks of early ballots, and they can turn it in up to the day of the election, which causes a whole counting issue because now they're considered provisional ballots. It takes us a week longer to count it. And it just really...
We do have the sheriff back, so let's get back to him. Sheriff, go ahead, answer Terrence's question if you like.
The powers that be did not like the common sense answer I was giving you of same-day election. But look, we've got a lot of issues that we've got to solve here in Arizona, and I wish we would get it under control. We have a Republican legislature and a Republican Senate here in the state of Arizona, but we don't have a Republican governor. We did a few years ago, and we had the opportunity to get better laws here in Arizona. We didn't to capitalize on it. And frankly, all the laws that we have were passed by Republicans. COVID was a big issue. It was a Trojan horse for really changing elections. Yeah. We have got to get back to some common sense elections. And some people, the crybabies aren't going to like it. But if we're going to fix stuff, it's got to get back to some real controllable controls, which is you show up, bring your ID, we'll let you vote. You get one ballot, and then we'll find out that the majority of Americans feel very different than the way the Democrats do.
Yeah, it's the KISS principle. Keep it simple, stupid. And there's a lot of stupid in America right about now. Yeah. All right, Sheriff Mark Lamb, thanks for being here. Really
sorry for the technical difficulties. God bless you guys.